Hey, it's Melanie Petro. I'm a facial plastic surgeon in Birmingham, Alabama, and it's Friday night, and I'm making and thinking about cool sculpting because I'm so proud of Tish Smith, who has just got back from a master's cool sculpting course, and we're going to make a special, and we're going to celebrate every one of you that's, comes to us and puts your faith and your trust in us, and the fact that she's really gets amazing results. And so I was sitting here looking at pictures of like women in bikinis, because last year I did summer bodies were made in the winter. But I can't do that now. I can't find a picture of some starving 20-year-old and put her on and tell you that summer bodies were made in the winter. I can hardly say it. And I think it's because, the older you get, the more insightful, in theory, you become, and the more you think about things. And weight loss weight is so emotional, and it's heavy. It's heavy stuff. And showing you some little girl in a bikini seems absolutely asinine to me now. And not to diminish the emotional aspect of it. I mean, I grew up with an eating disorder. The pressure that you put on yourself to look however you think you should look, because whoever looks that way is ridiculous, and it's so harmful, and it can cost you not only your health and your life, but even, in your future, it can give you health problems, and nothing's worse than your health. It just shows you the levels with which we're all at some point in our lives willing to go through to get a level of understanding from people that we think we need, or a level of acceptance. And then you grow up and you think, why did I do that? So there'll be no girl in white bikini. But it doesn't mean I don't think cool sculpting's great. I've had it. I mean, there's a power in being able to walk into your closet and put on clothes. And until we all make new clothes. I mean, clothes just weren't designed for people that, it's hard to wear clothes. Like, clothes don't seem to be made for someone that hasn't altered something. And the connection between how you look and how you feel, even though sometimes it feels so superficial to be telling you this, it's real. Like, there's just a connection. Like, it's not which one comes first. And sometimes when you feel good about yourself, you look good. And sometimes there's almost, and really, I would say at least over half the time, there's a true emotional component to anything, whether it be a wrinkle that reminds you of something, or looking old and tired, and people telling you all the time you look old and tired. Should it be bad to have wrinkles on your face and some extra skin? It shouldn't be bad. It shouldn't make you feel ostracized. I mean, shouldn't make you feel like you can't do your job or compete with other people, younger people. It shouldn't, but it does. I mean, there are so many things that shouldn't, but they do. Except for dogs. Dogs are the exception. But weight loss and being able to spot reduce fat is really, it's amazing that it works. It does. And in some ways, you just go through life and you take what you can get, and you do everything in your power to make yourself happy, and you don't judge yourself for what that might be. I mean, I had really big thighs, completely out of proportion to my body, and I got called thunder thighs, and I wanted to be on the dance team, but the uniforms we had to wear were so short that, you know, and people would just like walk by and say, oh my God. I mean, and it sounds like I'm just saying that, but I'm really not. You can ask my sister. And, you know, I tried the Thigh Master. I think my sister gave it to me for Christmas. And then I found out Suzanne Summers had totally lied, and she was on the National Enquirer saying she had liposuction. The way I felt in the Kroger that day in Jackson, Mississippi with my mother, when I looked to my left and saw the National Enquirer, I mean, it wasn't about my thighs. It wasn't about anything other than the fact that Chrissy, I mean, you know, Chrissy, like, I felt so deceived. That was my first association with that emotion. And it was terrible. And then I had liposuction. And then I taught aerobics. And I was uneven. And somebody told me they thought I had a tumor. And I went back to this guy to tell him I was uneven. He said, And my grandmother told me, you know, maybe this is something you really want to do. I thought, what? She said, you're so passionate about it. So I'm passionate about everything. But that was the only non-animal thing. Like, it wasn't riding horses. You know, I really felt like I wished so much that he had said, yeah, you look ridiculous. Like, because it wasn't like a little thing. I mean, we've all been in aerobics classes. Like, it's pretty random for somebody to come tell you. You know, I mean, it was pretty obvious. It wasn't something that you couldn't see. And more so than the fact that it was there was that somebody that I thought was something they turned out not to be. And I think that's the worst feeling. No question. And so I can't put a picture of someone in a bikini, but I can say that I recognize the heavy emotional load that it carries. And like, for some of us, I mean, I've had a lot of pelvic surgery for endometriosis, and, you know, having that bubble under, that's what until I co-sculpted it, every time I see that, I think of that surgery and thinking I'd never be able to have kids. I mean, there are so many emotional things that get latched on. And sometimes it's better just to be like a man and say, just ignore it and do whatever you can to make yourself happy. And I'm going to come up with a really good special because I appreciate the struggles. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate everything that you go through that we don't share with each other. And this is a little thing, but it's bigger than people think, you know? And if there's anything I can do that can ever make anyone feel better, that's what I want. And you have my word that I won't be showing any more women in bikinis. That really makes me sick to think about it. That's not how I like to show what we do. Physical appearance and beauty is so much more than skin deep. It's confidence, and it's how you feel about yourself. And it's such a big thing that to diminish it and almost ridicule it the way I did when I put out that girl in the bikini. Summer bodies are made in the winter. It's not who I am. That's not what I want to show you. So, have a great night.